Shalom everyone, Lieutenant Colonel Jonathan here, live. Today I am unfortunately in another city that was struck by another rocket fired from Gaza, central Israel, Ramat Gan, and as you can see I'm inside a residential apartment. This is the home of an Israeli family that was just having what obviously looks like their Shabbat lunch, and approximately 2 hours ago a rocket exploded down there on the street. This is the second story of a high-rise building, and a rocket exploded down there. And I want to show you something that we haven't showed you before. Take a look at this. Take a look at this piece of metal. This is hardened steel, usually used in construction. This is the type of shrapnel that the terrorists in Gaza use in order to kill our civilians. It's a massive chunk of steel, and each rocket has many dozens of these type of shrapnel, and that's what hits and kills civilians. Unfortunately, here at the location just down below, if I tilt the camera, you can see they're already working to clear the mess, the debris. You can see that down behind me. But what happened was that a rocket exploded 2 hours ago, and unfortunately, with one of these pieces of shrapnel, killed an Israeli civilian, and this is Israeli civilian number 10. 10 Israeli civilians killed by these rockets that are fired by terrorists towards Israel, and pushing millions of Israeli civilians into shelter, and unfortunately taking a very heavy price on our civilians. So I'm inside the building now, and you can see the level of destruction here. This is like 100 feet from where the explosion was. You can see across the street, the windows are totally broken, everything's exploded, and nothing's in place. I can give you a brief look on the apartment here. I don't want to show any pictures and be invasive, but they were obviously having their Shabbat lunch. And I want to show you, have a look at something that's absolutely crucial. The room over there, you see the entrance? That's the safe house. That's the bomb shelter that we have in each and every house in Israel. By law, has to have the bomb shelter, and that is what saved the lives of the people who were in this specific apartment, because otherwise they could have been struck by shrapnel like this. Now, people around the world are watching pictures of Gaza and complaining about proportionality and asking questions about the IDF. There are people around the world asking if this is all right, that Israeli civilians are targeted, that Israeli civilians get struck by these pieces of shrapnel. I don't think so, and I think it is definitely time for people around the world, for you who are watching this official account, and you get access to real live information, to speak up against the crimes of Hamas and against the fact that they have been firing more than 2,300 rockets at our civilians. Let that number sink in. 2,300 rockets at our civilians. And again, I'll reiterate, we're in central Israel. We're close to Tel Aviv, Ramat Gan. They shot at Jerusalem. They've been shooting at the south, at Ashdod, Ashkelon, and many other places with rockets of various sizes, and they have caused the death of 10 Israeli civilians. Now, against these atrocities, the IDF is defending. That's our job. That's what we do. So when terrorists fire at our civilians, we have the Iron Dome that is intercepts. Sorry, I'm a bit emotional because of the situation here. That intercepts more than 90% of the rockets, but we've said so from the beginning, the Iron Dome is not a 100% system. Nothing can be. So that's why we tell civilians, when something happens, you go to the shelter. That's where you need to be, and that saves lives time and time again. But in order to stop the terrorists from firing rockets at our civilians, we are hunting them down. We are attacking their infrastructure. We're attacking their facilities. We are attacking their locations where they manufacture, store, and house their operatives and their buildings, even if it is a high-rise building in Gaza. Because if terrorists are using it as an intelligence center or as a command center, then it is a legitimate target. And I can assure you that the IDF will continue to attack these terrorists, and we will continue in our mission to defend Israeli civilians. So just for those of you, I see that there's lots of people joining. I'll wrap up quickly with the basic facts. 2 hours ago, a rocket impacted in this area in Ramat Gan, central Israel. We're a few miles from Tel Aviv, this location. I'm in a house of an Israeli family. You can see they were having Shabbat lunch when this rocket impacted. This is the type of shrapnel that we deal with. You can see this is construction grade metal, which is absolutely lethal. And unfortunately, one of these pieces struck and killed an Israeli man who was about 50 feet, more than 50 feet from the site of the impact. And unfortunately, he died. So this doesn't, this is just, this is horrible. And this ensures that we will continue to operate and attack Hamas and the Islamic Jihad until quiet is achieved and until Israeli civilians can live in their homes safely. I thank you very much for being with us here on this official, on the official account and live here. And I urge you to stay connected, follow our Twitter page, get the updates from the IDF, and understand what's going on. Understand that Israel is under fire by terrorists from Gaza, and that we are defending ourselves, and we will continue to defend ourselves no matter what it takes. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom from Ramat Gan. Bye bye.